There's no other way to start this video. Jules Vaughn is in fact going through it, y'all. EUPHORIA continues their storyline in the second special that focuses on Jules, as opposed to the first special that was entirely focused on Rue, and partially her sponsor and friend at this point, Ali. By the way, if you'd like to see my video breaking down that episode, the link for that video will be in the description. It's on Vimeo because YouTube decided to block it 3 weeks after posting it, but we don't talk about that here. This second special, much like the first, is an entire uncut conversation about problems and ailments in their respective lives that have ultimately led them to some pretty messed up moments, with Jules particularly abandoning Rue, and Rue counteracting with a bad relapse. Though similar in nature, the episodes contrast each other as Rue's conversation over pancakes is met with Jules attending a formal therapy session. Jules opening up in ways we haven't really seen before. A lot of layers are unraveled about the status of her mother. She speaks on being trans, which to my knowledge was the first time it had been verbalized in the show. Along with these revelations also came painful truths, and in this video we're going to break down all of those painful truths and talk about what's next for the show. Let's get it. La, 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 la. One of the most obvious things to point out about this episode is its visuals. Along with her expressing things in vivid detail, like her feelings of femininity conquering her as opposed to her conquering it, she provided an example of what she feels is the true embodiment of being strong and feminine, and it was the ocean. Her recall of being one with the ocean and praying to it, along with these captivating film shots, set the tone for what was to come throughout the show. EUPHORIA's main storytelling methods in Season 1 had heavy emphasis on imagery, and though the restrictions of the pandemic ran high above production as usual, Sam Levinson and crew defied those odds and presented an incredible episode to essentially just stare at in awe. This moves nicely into Jules' talks of her transition journey thus far, starting the session with talks of her going off her puberty blockers, saying she felt as if she framed her entire womanhood around men. This whole block of their conversation I feel is extremely valuable to not only Jules as she continues to identify what she wants to become, but also to really anyone going through their own transition journey, as most of these feelings Jules possesses are things that likely will resonate deeply with anyone in that community. While expressing these things that make it tough, it's the people that make it easier for her that she holds in high regard, for better or for worse. The better part being Rue unconditionally loving Jules at all times, and them showing extreme trust in each other to the point of Rue helping her with her shots. Literally the most adorable thing I've seen on EUPHORIA. The worst being Jules' online dating relationship with Tyler that ultimately goes back to her feelings of feeling like she had been forming herself based on what men wanted from a girl, i.e. Tyler describing his perfect girl in Season 1. Perspective is everything. An old tale of Season 1 that everybody can almost confirm now is Rue's narrating of things is not always correct. And why would it be? Rue knows what Rue knows. And a lot of things are revealed to be going on in Jules' life that led her to specific moments in Season 1. The biggest being her mother's status. Hinted in the bike scene from Season 1 with Rue saying she isn't fully sure of what happened, but it must have been pretty bad because fathers rarely get full custody, and Rue is right on the money with that comment. Along with the insane mental hospital check-in, it's revealed that Jules' mom has been struggling with addiction. Jules, when her dad brings up her mom's 9-month sobriety, scoffs at the news and swiftly declines the offer to meet with her, only to come home one day with her in the living room. She races upstairs and makes comments that ultimately led to her mother leaving and Jules' father receiving a call later on about her relapsing and landing in the hospital. The same night Jules was being so distant to Rue and was absolutely drunk out of her mind. By the way, I urge you to watch the phone call scene, then go to the Halloween episode to see how Jules is acting. Perspective is everything. Continuing with this theme of perspective, one of the best points to be noted is how Jules never wanted to talk to Rue about her mother out of fear of Rue thinking that she felt the same anger for her as she did her mom. prompting the doctor to compare the two and how they fail to see how their addictions affect Jules, circling back to perspective and how their lack of awareness, although fueled with alcohol and drugs, nonetheless have affected Jules in a bad way. The vulnerability and pure realness of not only this episode, but the first episode are setting up season 2 in a major way for these two characters. They've seen a lot of growth, but they've also shown a lot of potential red flags if they don't assess their situations correctly. Rue, she needs to get clean. Jules needs to focus on herself before she self-destructs. Thank you so much for watching the video, guys. If you'd like to see the video I made on part 1, once again, the link is in the description. Make sure to subscribe for more Dev Talks content and also the Collective Podcast. We'll see you later. Peace. Season.